Mr. Speaker.
I call the member for Penrith.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's often said by many a veteran that politicians like to win wars but very rarely fight in them. And that is true, but 50 years ago, Australian politicians made the decision to commit troops to Vietnam. That started with 30 troops in what was affectionately known as the Team. It led to a peak of around 7,600 troops on the ground in Vietnam and over 60,000 personnel involved in the conflict. Over 521 Australian lives were killed in that battle, in that conflict, 3,000 wounded. And in a week where we've honoured the death of 5 Australian soldiers overseas, I think it brings those stark numbers into reality. But for many veterans of the Vietnam War, the mental health issues still live with them, and they will live with them and their families for the rest of their lives. Australia's contribution started in the Ben Hau province before moving to the Phuoc Toi province. The Australian Navy, affectionately known during those times as the Vung Tau Ferry, or the Vung Tau Ferry I should say, carted endless supplies, personnel and equipment on numerous trips to Vietnam. The Air Force contributed significantly in the operation, with 35 Squadron doing a lot of the lifting work with their Caribous, 9 Squadron flying helicopters in and out of combat zones, and number 2 Squadron with their Canberra bombers participating in a lot of work. The Army fought in battles like Bin Ba, Coral and Balmoral, Operation Bribey, and one that is most recognised these days only because of the work of veterans is the Battle of Long Tan, which took place on the 18th and 19th of August. In that particular battle, 18 Australians lost their lives. They fought what would be described as insurmountable odds. It's anticipated that D Company that night faced possibly 2,500 enemy soldiers in a rubber plantation not far from their home base at Nui Dat. And it is important to recognise the contribution of these veterans, not just those at Long Tan, but all of those veterans that participated in the Vietnam War. And this country, it's fair to say, forgot these veterans for far too long. It took this country till 1987 to welcome them home. The establishment of the Vietnam Veterans Association of Australia played a critically important role, and still does play a critically important role in supporting veterans of this particular conflict. In St Mary's, just outside the Penrith electorate, it is home to the Vietnam Veterans Outpost that services many of the veterans from the Penrith electorate and surrounding areas. It's affectionately known as the Train because it occupies an old train that's outside the St Mary's RSL. And they, like many other Vietnam Veterans Association branches, conducted their Vietnam Veterans Day ceremony on the 18th of August. It was great to see a fantastic crowd there at St Mary's, plenty of heartfelt speeches. One of the things that stands out in my mind from that particular day, not only the opportunity to attend one with my own family, but also the important role that music plays for this particular group. Songs like Leaving on a Jet Plane and We've Got to Get Out of This Place really describes the camaraderie that exists amongst this very special group of Australians. It's also critically important that politicians stand up and talk for these people. It is without doubt one of the great blights on Australian society that the quota system for the awarding of medals clearly, in my mind, led to many Australian participants in this conflict not receiving appropriate awards over the time. And I would encourage the federal government to continue to look at this to ensure that Vietnam veterans that still suffer to this day and their families suffer from often the mental illness get the recognition that they deserve. I think it is critically important that parliaments right across this country recognise the very, very important work that Vietnam veterans have done in raising the profile of Australian troops overseas. We denied these people the welcome home that they deserved, and the price that they paid is a black armband on our society, and we know it, and so we welcome home troops with gusto every time, because we never, ever, ever want to create the situation that we created when these guys came home. And so they have paid the price, and it is up to politicians to stand in houses all over this country and ensure that we never do it again.
Yeah. Well, that was a great message.